Well, looking forward to the challenge this weekend. Indiana State, it's going to be a tough matchup for us. I think they have two of the better guards in the league, and Cooper Neese and Tyreek Key, and then two of the better bigs in the league, and Trey Williams and Laravia. So they present a lot of challenges. They're a great defensive team. They really pressure the ball. For us, we got to do a better job taking care of the ball, and then defensively, we got to be more connected and be able to control the paint a little bit better and close out to the three-point shooters at a higher level.
Matt Varney, you want to start us off?
Coach, how has the team responded this week to Monday's game at Drake? That game felt to me like one that either kind of sharpens the iron or bogs the program down. From your viewpoint, what has that game done for the program in the days since?
Yeah, I think our guys understand that we didn't play well this weekend, that wasn't our team out there, that we have to play better, that on both sides of the ball, and I think the guys are focused. We had a good practice yesterday, and hopefully we'll have a couple more good practices before we play Indiana State.
Does the upcoming series feel to you like something that's going to be one down in the paint? You mentioned Arabia, he's a force for Indiana State, and it really changed things. Kind of feels like it maybe flows through him a little bit.
Yeah, I think Indiana State's a tough matchup because they got different guys that can beat you. Like I said, those four guys especially, just off the top, and Laravia is so versatile. He plays 1 through 5 for him. He brings the ball up as a point. He can play the 5 for him as well. So, and then Tyreek Key's been one of the best scorers in this league for the last 3-4 years. So, they got multiple weapons. I don't think if we shut down Key, that's the solution, or if we shut down Laravia, that's the solution. I think we got, be able to contain a lot of those guys.
What's the urgency like for you and the team right now, sitting at 1-3 in Valley play?
Well, I think there's enormous urgency every single game going into the Valley. I don't think you can afford to, take your foot off ever, in this league, and it's so hard to win in this league that, I think, every game you got to be ready to go.
This season you've seen your points balloon up 7 points from last year, from the 62s to 69 about a game now. How much of that is a result of just having a roster filled with freshmen and sophomore?
Well, what was the first part of that question, Matt?
You've seen your points against average balloon up about 7 points a game. Just how much of that is a result of it being just a younger roster with mostly freshmen and sophomores?
Maybe a little bit, but I think some of it is just, we need to improve. I don't think, it's definitely it's a youth problem. I think it's just that we got to get better on that end. We got to clean up some miscommunication errors. We got to be in our gaps better. We got to, have a little bit more urgency on that defensive side of the ball.
Last one from me, Coach. Greg Lansing has become kind of one of those elder statesman types in the Valley in recent years. What is your relationship like with him, and how much does he mean to the Valley as a fixture?
Well, I think Coach Lansing's, one of the best coaches in the league. He's an unbelievable person, first and foremost. He's been very kind and supportive of me, since at Loyola and since I got this opportunity. And I think his teams are always one of the hardest to prepare for because of how they play, and they can hurt you in multiple ways. And he's a very good in-the-game coach. He makes great adjustments throughout the game, and obviously he's meant a ton to this league, and he's had a tremendous amount of success.
Thank you, Coach.
Jason Hurst.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned having a good practice. What made it a good practice? What did you see? What did you like?
Well, I saw competitiveness. I saw energy. I saw a lot of leadership. I saw a lot of communication on the floor. I saw, a high standard being set by the guys and not just by the coaches. So it's all things that, these guys have been doing that we weren't able to do this past weekend.
You said that they were communicating well in practice. things that they weren't or that they've been doing before, but then in the game they didn't. You want to see more, I guess. I think you said hitting the gaps, filling the gaps, I should say. How come, I guess, maybe this past weekend it didn't translate, or how do you make sure that it translates, that somebody's more vocal in the games? Do you need that quarterback on defense, somebody to step up? How do you get it to translate?
Yeah, I think you continue to do it through practice. I think you got to continue to have great practices. It's not just going to magically show up in the games. And I think for us having a young group, it's not just one person's responsibility to be vocal or one person's responsibility to talk at free throws. It's got to be by committee with our group, and we got to have everyone. All 14 guys. Part of it, our bench has got to be great. The guys on the floor have got to be communicating great. So, I think it's just a day in, day out type process with the young team that you're continually trying to teach them that.
And I know I feel like we're all kind of harping on it with them being young or whatnot, but is it just become muscle memory after a while? I mean, I feel like from day one you've stressed defense, because in your opening statement you said closing out on the three. This is something I thought you've talked about from day one. So is it just going to take more reps, more time during the season, or is there just lapses? Because like you said, they've known about it before, they've worked on it. I mean, you saw it through the first few games, and then this past weekend you mentioned you didn't see it. So how do you see it where it becomes almost muscle memory again?
Yeah, I think you just stay with it. We believe in the things we're doing. We talk about trusting the work every single day in this program, and I think the things that we do with the guys will pay off. And it's not maybe going to happen, overnight or this first week, or but we've seen already in games previous to Drake that we can guard at a high level when we're all locked in, we're all doing the right things. We just have obviously too much slippage right now, and we just got to continue to get better. And I think as the guys continue to put the work in, which they do, it's a great team to practice with every single day, that it'll pay off. And we want to be playing our best, obviously heading into end of February towards Arch Madness.
And last thing for me, during the film session, what were some positives that you took out of it that from looking at that last game? Because I think Barney had mentioned it can go either direction in a series like that. So did you find some positives from watching the game film from the guys to build off of?
Yeah, I mean, we did some positive things, obviously. On the offensive side of the ball, we got some good looks that we wanted to get. On the defensive side of the ball, we were able to take them out of a lot of actions. It's not their actions didn't really hurt us. It was our turnovers, our transition defense, us not, having proper closeouts. So, some of the scouting report stuff was positive, but, I think for our group, there was a lot of teaching points, and that's really what we took out of the film session the most.
Thanks, Coach.
Todd?
So, Brian, when you're talking about your defense, I mean, would you say it's closer to a reset rather than an overhaul? Learning how to defend it a whole new way after what you've seen the first 4 games here?
Yeah, we're not overhauling or changing, or we just got to do things at a higher level. We got to do things with greater urgency. So we're sticking to who we are. We're sticking to our identity, and our guys are capable of doing it. We just got to be more consistent with it.
You're playing mostly weekends the rest of the way as far as Saturday, Sunday. I mean, do you think that you can get into a little bit of a rhythm as far as playing and then knowing what days you're going to practice? Do you think that can help your team?
Yeah, I think anytime you can kind of get into a routine, a structure, it's always good for the guys, obviously. But I don't think, the past 2.5 weeks is the reason maybe why we didn't play well against Drake, because the schedule was a little bit off or a little bit unusual.
I think Drake is a better defensive team than some people give them credit, but the ball doesn't seem to be moving as fast maybe as it was earlier in the season. Do you think it's just kind of a learning process, or do you feel like the ball is moving well enough for you to get the kind of shots that you want?
No, I think we got to do a better job moving the ball for sure, making decisions when we get to the paint. I thought Drake did a good job pushing our catches out. I think their physicality on defense affected our execution. So our guys, we need to continue to get better executing with pressure. And Indiana State's going to do the same thing, so it's going to be a great challenge and a great test for us this weekend.
Is this the time you think you feel like you need to shake up the lineup, the starting lineup?
Haven't really put much thought into that yet. We're kind of seeing how practices go these next couple days before we decide anything for sure.
And Indiana State, we all talk about Key, but Laravia and Williams really giving you guys problems. How do they use them this year with the additions that they brought in?
How do they what?
How do they use those two in their offense?
With Laravia and Williams, you said?
Yeah, Trey and.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like Laravia is versatile. I mean, they use Laravia all over the floor. Like I said, he brings it up. He plays point guard for him, and then he also plays five-man for him. Trey is more your typical 4-5. They'll bring him out, flash him high-low. But he's, obviously a low block. He's got great touch around the basket. He's a physical player and a great offensive rebounder.
Does Cooper Neese just look more confident to you, or is he just making more shots?
No, he's playing with extreme confidence. I mean, he's got a great shot, a quick release. He's got deep range. He can shoot it off 1 to 2 dribbles, step backs. So, I think he's just a year older, and he's playing with a ton of confidence. We got to do a great job on him.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who jumped on who I missed?
Hey, John, can I ask one other thing?
Yep, go ahead. We'll wrap it up with this, Jason.
Coach, you mentioned pressure, and that was one thing that I saw during the Drake game. Do you expect more opponents to really eat up the beginning of the shot clock to get you guys out of rhythm? Is that something that you expect to see more of, and something that you've been working on in practice?
Indiana State, they pressure. So I think it just depends on the teams that we're going against. I think some teams in our league, pick up full court or do 1-2-2 type presses, and then other teams kind of do half court, more man. So I think this weekend, though, we'll see a lot of pressure.
Thanks, Coach.